What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Grow with Dro. In today's video, I'll be growing 6 plants in a 2x4 tin. Let's go. Alright, so I'm starting these plants out. These are actually clones from my last grow. I'm starting these in 70-30 cocoa and perlite. If I can find it, I usually use Mother Earth. And here are the clones. They've been in these little cell pots for a minute, almost a month. So, it's been time to transplant. I'm just putting some mycorrhizae in the hole, trying to stimulate that root growth. And then in go the clones. Now the reason I put 6 plants in here, if you go back and watch my last grow, this pheno was extremely short, extremely squat, so I was excited to experiment with it. Having a versatile, flexible plant like this that can grow in small spaces, I think it's great for a home grower. It gives you a lot of flexibility. I could grow this under a desk and you'll see. So day 35 of veg, these plants seem to be doing well. They bounce back from the transplant beautifully, and we're off to the races. It's day 45 veg, and the plants are filling out the tent pretty nicely. You can see a nice, big, beautiful canopy. I'm obviously concerned about airflow, and so I have to keep an eye on that the entire grow. Now I'm growing these in a 2x4 tent that I got off Amazon under a Spider Farmer SF2000. This could really be a budget grow. Outside of the nutrients that I use, we're talking a couple $100. So it's almost time to flip the flower, but before I do that, I'm gonna do a little bit of defoliation just to make room for that stretch phase when the plant hits early flower. So I'm basically just coming through and taking off some of these larger fan leaves that are covering those emerging bud sites. All of those little lighter green areas are where our flowers are gonna bloom. So we wanna make sure I bring as many of those to the forefront as possible. And anybody that's trying to block that shine, gotta go. I feel kind of like a barber right here, giving my client a nice little fade. I'm trying to lollipop. A lot of this stuff that I'm cutting off, I would keep in a normal grow. But I gotta keep in mind that we got 6 plants in this small tent. And once we start flowering good, airflow, and just space for the plants in general is gonna be really important. Just look at how low and squatty these plants still are, well into their flowering phase. I mean, they're not even halfway up the tent after stretching. So that was one of the main reasons why I chose this pheno. I just love the idea of having short, squatty plants that could grow in a smaller environment. So we're getting close to the end, and most of the plants are looking good. We got a couple deficiencies, but we're doing okay. Nice frost. I've grown this before, so I know what to expect from this pheno. The buds are nice and rock hard. They smell great. And after about 80 days of flower, it's time for these girls to get chopped down. And one of the downsides of this experiment, you can kind of see how anything below that midline of all the plants is like light green. Those bud sites never had the opportunity to get enough light to mature. And I considered doing a partial harvest here. I think looking back, that might have made more sense, coming in, chopping off those tops, and letting the rest of that grow up. And I think if I did something like this again, I would do it that way. So I got just under 2 ounces per plant. We got about 300 grams on this grow. Not too bad. So now that the grow is all done, I'm gonna make myself a little dry sift hash rosin using what's left over from the trim bin. Now I usually use a 37 micron bag, but I've started to use 90 micron for my dry sift and flower rosin, and it's worked pretty well. So that's what I'm using here. And after collecting all that up, got a nice little booger there, nice little bit of rosin. I had a ton of fun growing this strain, having this experiment with these 6 plants. Had even more fun pressing this rosin. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Catch you on the next one. Peace.